So welcome to my class, and in this we are going to start with part A, which has 40 marks, that's statistics for economics. And in the introduction we're going to start with unit 1, that is introduction. And in this you will realize we're going to talk about what is economics, and once you know what is economics, you will come to know the importance of statistics in order to understand economics and all of that. So just have a look. This is what is we're going to do. It's now talking about economics, as I think even in my earlier classes I've mentioned that the word economics has been derived from two Greek words, oikos, nomos. Oikos means household and nomos means management. So any household faces this problem of managing the household's unlimited wants with the limited income, that they have. So initially economics was defined as a science of the principles of household management. So, and if this is true for the household, it's surely true for the society as a whole, which is made up of various households. So the society also faces the same problem of satisfying unlimited wants with limited resources. So we can say economics can be defined as a social science that studies economic activities in that. So what are economic activities? That is the question. So economic activities are all activities which are concerned with getting of wealth and using of wealth. That means all activities that can be measured in terms of money. That means activities that generate income and also activities concerned with the use of income. All of that comes under the purview of economic activities, if you see. So what are they? Production, consumption, exchange and distribution, as you see. So those are the basic activities that we will be doing. I mean, I'm just going to touch upon them. So it's still here. So production, consumption, and so what is production? So that is addition of value in goods. For example, the process of converting any raw material into the final product. That is production. Okay. Now what is consumption? That means when you're using, that means that it's that part of the economic activity which is concerned with the use of goods and services for the satisfaction of human wants. That is consumption. So what is exchange? Another kind of economic activity, because it's concerned with the sale and purchase of goods and services. And of course, goods and services are bought and sold in terms of money. So exchange in a way is a link between production activities and consumption activities. And then we have what is known as distribution. So what is distribution? It is again another kind of economic activity which deals with the distribution of the produced output of goods and services among the factors of production who helped the production. So in a way it deals with the determination of prices or factors of production, that is rent, wages, interest and profits. So that's a short introduction which we've already done, and that's why I've raced through it, as you must have seen, but just listen to it carefully. Okay, and now we come to the various definitions. So there are 4 groups of definitions. So economists at different times have emphasized different types of economic activities, and so they have arrived at different definitions, different definitions. So let's just group them. The first group is, say, wealth definition, and it was Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, in his book An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations in 1776, who defined economics as an inquiry into the factors that determine the wealth of a country and its growth. So this came to be known as a wealth definition, because here he emphasized that economics studies the nature of wealth and causes of increase in wealth. So it studies all economic activities of human beings in relation to wealth. So that was it. And then again, here the term wealth was used for material goods. that were scarce. And then they found that economics is that it's an inquiry into the causes of increase in wealth, how to step up production. Then we came to another group of definitions, which was led by Alfred Marshall, talking about material welfare definition in his Principles of Economics, which was published in 1890. So he gave more importance to human welfare in comparison to wealth. So he felt that wealth is only a means to satisfy human wants and not an end in itself. And he said, wealth is for man and not man for wealth. So then he's talking about man in his ordinary business of life. So what is the ordinary business of life? That means earning your living, earning your money and spending it. All about that. So then we come to the scarcity definition, and headed by, say, Lord Robbins in his book An Essay on Nature and Significance of Economic Science, that was published in 1932. And he defined economics as a science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So here he emphasized three very important points, that is ends, which are, that is, it refers to human wants. When one want is satisfied, another want crops up. So there is no end to human wants. Scarce means it refers to scarcity of resources. Resources are scarce in relation to wants. All wants cannot be satisfied. So people have to prioritize. And alternative uses. Resources have alternative uses. For example, so any resource, because it's scarce, it has a lot of uses, alternative uses. So you have to prioritize. So in a way, he said that economics is a science of choice. So it deals with how the resources of society should be allocated to the satisfaction of different wants. And then comes growth definition, headed by Samuelson. So he was a modern economist who presented growth-oriented definition of economics, and he gave the following definition of economics, that economics is the study of how man and society choose with or without the use of money to employ scarce productive resources which could have alternative uses to produce various commodities over time and distribute them for consumption now and in the future among various people and groups of society. So he basically talked about efficient allocation of resources, he talked about growth of resources, and also he talks about the determining the pattern of employment of scarce resources to produce goods over time. So he sort of okay, from the above analysis, we see that different definitions of economics which have been given by different economists over time, and this is mainly because economics is a growing science. It's a growing subject. However, Samuelson's definition is considered appropriate and satisfactory because it includes all the issues which were highlighted in the earlier definitions. Also, it takes up the issue of economic growth and social welfare. So generally today we agree on this type of definition. So then all of this is very important for statistics. Now let's just take up statistics. Let me just introduce that, how important, because once you know all this about economics, so many definitions, so you sort of can guess what is statistics, what's the meaning of statistics, or where does the word come from. So the word statistics seems to have been derived from the Latin word status, or the Italian word statista, or the German word statistic, and all these means political state. Now in the olden days, statistics was necessary for the proper functioning of the affairs of a state. The kings used to collect information regarding population, land, income and wealth of the people of their state to know the amount of taxes to be realized from them. Thus, in those days, statistics was called a science of state or science of kings. So, of course, it has been defined differently by different writers from time to time. And And the term statistics was first used by German scientist Gottfried Achenwald in 1749, and that is why he is known as father of statistics. So in the next, I'm going to do singular sense and plural sense. That's how it is defined.